So in previous class, we were discussing dissimilarity measures, and we discussed dissimilarity between the objects described by different kinds of attributes. So data matrix and the dissimilarity matrix, and this is the formula by which we used to compute. And this example we were discussing, and here we have three kinds of attribute: nominal, ordinal, and numeric. And four objects are here. So first we computed dissimilarity considering nominal attribute. Okay, and so test one was considered as nominal. Okay, and we computed dissimilarity matrix, and then we discussed measures, proximity or dissimilarity measures for binary attributes. Okay. Then we have two options. Binary can be symmetric or asymmetric, and based on some variation in the formula we computed. Then we measure the dissimilarity when objects are described using numeric attributes. Okay, and we discuss these kind of distances. Apple distance, Euclidean, supermum. We were here. Am I right? Okay. So now we have to measure dissimilarity or proximity or ordinal attributes. So ordinal attributes, when order is defined of the attribute values, right? And just like good, better, best. So this order is important here. Now, if we convert this these attribute values in quantitative terms, some numeric values. So we have to select numeric values such that the order could be retained in the same way as it is present in ordinal attribute. So the values of an ordinal attribute have meaningful order or ranking without any magnitude information, right? Just like small, medium, large, or size attribute. So ordinal attribute may also be obtained by dividing values of numeric attribute into intervals and mapping them to a finite number of categories. The form categories will behave as states of an ordinal attribute. So suppose if I have temperature, cold, moderate, and warm. So instead of these three, I can also consider some numeric value range -10 to +10 degrees centigrade as cold temperature, and 10 to 20 as moderate, and 20 to 30. In place of 20 to 30 for warm temperature, I can also consider 30 to 40. Here objective is the order should retain as it is in the original values of the ordinal. So what we used to do, we have several values of the ordinal attributes. They are mapped to numeric intervals such that they are equivalently being represented by those numerical values, subject to the condition that the order of the ordinal attribute values is also maintained here. So here what we used to do, we convert all those values in on a uniform or common scale of 0 to 1. So we will see. So these ordered states we define by 1 to MF, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. So this is the process, and it will be easy to understand when we take numeric example. Okay. So before taking this numerical example, I read it how are ordinal attributes handled. The treatment of ordinal attributes is quite similar to that of the numeric attributes when computing dissimilarity between objects. So once we successfully map the values of ordinal attribute to numeric interval or numeric values, then we can directly use the measures which we use for numeric values. Let f be an attribute from a set of ordinal attributes. There is a set of attributes. Out of those attributes, this is one. F is representing one of them. So this is necessary. Now, ith object in the f attribute by this formula. Dissimilarity can then be computed using any of the distance measures described in section that we have discussed three kinds of measures: Euclidean, Merton, Supernom, etc. Now we take numerical example, then it will be easy to understand. So we take one example. Let we have the same sample data that we were discussing in the other examples. So here we are considering this test 2 ordinal data, excellent, fair, good, and excellent. These values here for object 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this test 2 is an ordinal attribute and has three states: fair, good, excellent. So here MF is 3 measures for attribute. If we replace each value for test 2 by its rank, the four objects are assigned the ranks 3, 1, 2, and 3 respectively. So directly come here. This is object identifier and here test values, excellent, fair. So what we shall do for fair, we assign 0 value, and for excellent we assign 1, and this will be 0.5 because we have only very limited number here. But if we have large number of values, then we have to use the formula that we discussed. So simply it is mapping on 0 to 1 scale. So lowest value will be mapped to 0, highest value will be mapped to 1, and rest values will be proportionally between 0 to 1. So here normalizing ranking by mapping rank 1 to 0 and rank 2 to 0.5 and rank 3 to 1. So now for nth order position or rank of an ordinal attribute. Okay, so first, second, third, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and 1. Right. So from point 0 to 0.499, it will come to first, and then 0.5 to 0.999 will be second, and 1 will be for this third. Now the same method we use for computing dissimilarity in the matrix. So this is object 1, 2, 3, 4 object I, object C. So 1, 2, 3, 4 object 1, 2, 3. So for first object is compared with itself. So this will be 0. So object 1 is compared with object 2. This value. Okay. Row 1. So object 2 with 1, yeah, object 1 with 2. So now you see for one object and two object. Here we have excellent fail and it is corresponding to 1 and 0. So difference is 1. Now between object 1, object 3 and 1, row third 3, 1. So you see third object is value good and first object excellent. So we see it is 1 and it is 0.5. So difference is 0.5. So it is 0.5. Now object 4 and object 1. So you see object 1, this is excellent, this is also excellent, and here it is equal to 1 and it is equal to 1. So difference between these two is 0. Both are excellent here. Now similarly here for third object, second and third object. So this row 3 and column 2. So you see third object and second object. So third this one and second this one, fair and good. So it is 1, 0 and it is 0.5. So difference is 0.5. Similarly for second object and fourth object. So you see second object is fair, fourth is excellent. So fair means 0, excellent means 1. So it is 1. Similarly for third object and fourth object, fourth row and third column. So third and fourth, so good, excellent, 0.51, so difference is 0. So in the same way we compute this dissimilarity matrix. Now we can use and say Euclidean distance which results the following dissimilarity matrix. Now these values can be used in measuring distance like Euclidean. So what is the meaning of this? So this is for the explanation of step 3. This is the dissimilarity matrix for objects when we are considering one attribute as ordinal. Suppose the objects are defined by p number of ordinal attributes. Suppose object ij, okay? Ij means any one of the object in the set and any other object in the set. One object is being compared to another. So if object I and j are described by p number of ordinal attributes, then there will be p number of dissimilarity measures, one for each attribute. Okay, so similar kind of matrices we will have p number of matrices. Now we can use the dissimilarity measure for computing dissimilarity between object and I. So what we have this dissimilarity matrix of Euclidean distance. So suppose 10 matrices are there for first object and for first attribute. Okay. Yet weightage is given, so you consider this one. So this is object ij and they are the attributes, right? So difference between object ij for attribute 1, similarly second attribute. So all the n attributes dissimilarity values are here, and we can use this formula. So in this way, if objects are described by p number of ordinal attributes, then we can compute the dissimilarity between any two objects in this form. So first of all, we compute the dissimilarity matrix for each individual matrix, each individual attribute. Then we use this kind of. Now, when we have mix in a reality, we do not have one kind of attribute in object. We have variety of attribute. So we have mix types of attribute. So in practice or in reality, we have to encounter this mixed type of attribute. So what are the possible solutions and how we can go ahead? So we have computed dissimilarity between objects described by attributes of the same type as nominal, symmetric binary, asymmetric binary, numeric, and ordinal. Okay. However, in reality, objects are described by a matrix by a mixture of different attribute types. So in general, a database can have objects of all these attribute types, right? So how can we compute the dissimilarity between objects of mixed attribute type? So one approach is to group each type of attribute together. Suppose there are 20 attributes. So three attributes are of ordinal, five attributes can be binary symmetric, three attributes can be asymmetric, and the rest can be numeric, etc. So we identify all similar kind of these attributes and performing separate data mining analysis for each type, meaning is that we compute the dissimilarity for each type of for each type of attributes. Uh, so if we do the same thing in pictorial form, then some clustering exercise takes place, or we can also say, actually this is used in clustering analysis. So in clustering chapter, you will come to know this is feasible if these analysis drive the compatible result. Meaning is that when we compute the dissimilarity from one type of attribute and we compute dissimilarity from another kind of attribute, now these dissimilarity they are compatible to it, compatible such that we can add or we can subtract or other kind of operation can be applicable. So one is the compatibility issue. So this is feasible if these analyses drive compatible results. However, in real applications, it is unlikely that the separate analysis per attribute type will generate compatible. So in practice, it is not, or rarely it may happen, but in practice, we have not such compatible results. So a more preferable approach is to process all attribute types together, performing single analysis. One such technique combines the different attributes into a single dissimilarity matrix, bringing all the meaningful attributes onto a common scale of the interval 0 to 1. So suppose that data set contains p attributes of mixed type. The dissimilarity Dij between object I and j is defined as, right, dissimilarity, and here it is sum from 1 to p. F is referring to attribute 1 to p, and here all the attribute, and here dissimilarity multiplied by this factor ij. So what it is, we will see in next slide. Where indicator this is 0. If either xij, xif and or xif is missing, That means there is no measurement of attribute f for object I or object j. Or second case, xif equal to fjf equal to 0. The attribute f is asymmetric binary, otherwise 1. The contribution of the attribute f for the dissimilarity between object I and j, that means dissimilarity from I to ij to f, is computed dependent on this type, on its type. If f is numeric, then dissimilarity ij, where h runs over all non-missing objects for attribute f. If f is nominal or binary, okay, then this is the case. Otherwise, 1. If f is ordinal, f means attribute, compute the rank this and treat ZIF as numeric. These steps are identical to what we have already seen in each of the individual attribute types. The only difference is that the numeric attribute for the only difference is for numeric attribute where we normalize so that the values map on 0 to 1 scale or integral. Thus, the dissimilarity between the objects can be computed even when the attributes describing the objects are of different type. There is one example in the book. Okay, so I advise you to go that example, and it is the same example that we are discussing here, running example. So all the attributes here, they have been considered as mixed type, and the same way the similarity has been measured. So all this material I am covering from handbook and third edition, Han and Camber. So this example is given there also, so you can go through that example. Then it will be clear to you. Now cosine similarity. This kind of measure is used for measuring similarity between the documents. Okay. So if two documents we have and we identify whether the documents have similarity, then how much similar they are. So we represent documents by vector that is called frequency vector or term frequency vector. So here what we used to do in document words are appearing. So we identify the counting of individual words and represent in form of matrix. So here it is given document 1. Team is one word, coach, hockey, baseball, social. Okay. So the frequency number of times it is occurring in the document 503. Right. So in this way, the term vector is represented. So documents are represented. Now we have to identify the similarity. So one measure is computed, one measure is suggested, that is called cosine similarity. Basically, this cosine similarity is based on the value of cos. In trigonometry, cos 90 is 0 and cos 0 is 1. Okay, and the values between 0 to 1 varies depending on the angle between 0 to 90 values. Now, on the same concept is also valid here. Basically, not valid, it is based on that concept. So, what happens here? This is the formula. I read first. Cosine similarity is a measure of similarity that can be used to compare documents or say give a ranking of document with respect to a given vector of query words. Say x and y are two vectors for comparison using the cosine measure as a similarity function. We define similarity between x, y to vector, and this is the x multiply y and magnitude multiply here. And this is defined as how this magnitude x is the Euclidean norm of the vector, that is all the values square, and sum is taken and under root. Conceptually, the length of the vector is, so basically it will represent the length of the vector. Similarly, y is also Euclidean norm vector y. The measure computes the cosine of the angle between vector x and y. So a cosine value 0 means that the two vectors are 90 degree to each other, orthogonal. That means there is no match. Orthogonal basically is used to say if two things are independent. Okay, then we use in mathematics also, they are orthogonal. And if you have studied the vector chapter, it is also taught there. So the value 90 degree refers here orthogonal, there is no match. The closer the cosine value to 1, the smaller the angle and greater match between the vectors. So value of this cos will vary between 0 to 2. So when it is close to 1, that means angle will be less and vector has more similarity, high similarity. If it is close to 0, that means angle will be high. Okay. So less relationship or most of the independence between the vectors. So less similarity we can say. So the closer the cosine value of to 0, smaller the angle and greater the match between the vectors. Note that because of the cosine similarity measures does not obey all the properties of section 2.4 defining metric measures. So it is called non-metric measures. Right? This is one example. Here, suppose we have x and y, first two term vector, frequency vector, document 5 and 3. Okay, this is shown x and this is y. How similar x and y are, so it is computed. Actually, this t is only when we use when we have binary values. Okay, so it is not making any sense here. So x, y, this is the multiplication and this is the vector sum of the square values, and then we have division and it will come out. So 0.94, that means tending towards 1, and that means the angle will be less. So more similarity to left. And we can see here between 1 and vector uh, vector 1 and vector 3. So here we see the t in the, we can match the word 5300. Okay. So you see here at 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 words we have the same values 00, and for others the difference is. So it is showing us somewhat more similarity. Now we come graphic display of the basic statistical descriptions. So these are generally for box plot, histogram, quantile plots, scatter plot. Okay. Box plot we have already discussed, 5 number summary. Histogram. Okay, it is very frequently used histogram. Basically, it is a frequency diagram. So on one axis we have the frequency, number of occurrence, and other axis we have the magnitude of the artery. Okay, x and x axis are the values, y-axis represent, on y-axis it is representing the frequency, and on x-axis it represents the value. Quantile plot, each value xi is paired with f, indicating the approximately. With quantile, what we used to do, we arrange data values in increasing orders. Okay, and when we say 4 division, each one quartile 1 2 3, quartile 0 1 2 3. So what we used to do, all the values will have to be mapped. If we talk in terms of frequency, so 100, 25th 25th percentile, 50th percentile, if we divide into 100. So what happened here, each value of xi is paired with sequence f, indicating approximately 100 of the fi percent. We will see in the diagram. Then quantile plot graph the quantile of one univariate distribution with corresponding quantile of others. So on one we have the quantiles, and on other we have the corresponding quantile. Scatter plot. Each pair of the values is a pair of coordinates, and plotted as points in the plane. So from scattered plot, we have some idea whether two variables are related or not related. If they are related, then positively, negatively. So we use the word correlation, and in most of the cases, people also use correlation analysis. So correlation means one variable is dependent on other or not, or one variable uh, varies how the other also varies. This is the histogram analysis. Histogram graph display tabulated frequencies shown as bar. It shows what population of cases fall into each of the several categories. Differs from bar chart in that it is the area of the path that denotes the value, not the height as in bar. A crucial distinction when categories are not uniform width. In database, we also using optimization, in query optimization. Histograms are also used. Okay, so there you will find the width may vary, width may be fixed like that. So here you will also this is the two histograms are shown. The left may have the same box plot representation, the same values for minimum Q1 and Q3, Q1 median and Q3 maximum, minimum 5 values. Okay, but they have rather different data distribution. In textbook, other diagrams are also given. This is quantile plot. So here, that I told that display all the data following user to assess both the overall behavior of and unusual occurrence. Okay, so plot quantile information, plots quantile information. For data xi, data are sorted in increasing order, and fi indicates the approximately 100% okay, of the data. So now we have to map them on the scale of 100%. this is unit price, and when it is 40. So how much in terms of percentage, like आगे कोई डायग्राम है तो देखो. This is quantile plot QQ graphs the quantiles of one univariate distribution against the corresponding quantiles of other. So this is the first for light color, and these dark color, they are the quantiles of the other. So in this way we can compare. The example shows unit price of the items sold at branch 1 versus branch 2 of each quantile. The unit prices of the items sold at branch 1 tend to be the lower than those of the branch 2. Scatter plot provides first look at bivariate data to see clusters of point outliers. So each pair of values are treated just like we draw XY plot. So one variable, other variable, and corresponding points we draw. Here unit price and item sold. Now you see this is scatter plot. So you see in the first one, the values are go on increasing. If X value moves for larger value, then Y also moves. So this is called positively correlated. And here in second one, it is going to downward. So when X increases, Y decreases. So it is called negatively correlated. Okay. And this is showing uncorrelated. That kind of correlation we are not observing here, positively and negatively. So I stop here, and next time I will either start new chapter, or one more chapter is there, that is cleaning of data, reprocessing. So I shall try to cover one or two lectures. Okay, then we will start new one. I leave the meeting. Thank you.